Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to make a simple animated GIF using frames in Photoshop. So the first thing that you should do is already have your file prepared. You should have all your layers and everything that you want to animate already pasted in before you start working with the timeline. So you can see basically what I have here. I have this zombie who's just going to run across, come up here and jump down into the grave. I'm going to have these hands kind of reaching slowly from the ground, and I'm going to have a ghost fly by. So let's look at my layers tab. You can see how I have everything organized and named. This is very important because if you don't organize your layers in folders and name things, it's going to get pretty complicated to animate. So make sure you have everything in order, like in the order that you want it to appear, and you have them labeled and grouped together in folders. So to make a folder, in case you don't already know how, you just hold the Shift key while you're clicking on the layers and do Control G, which means group, and it'll put it in a folder, and then you can click on it and name it whatever you want. So please make sure you organize your file before you actually start doing the animation. Alright, so the first thing that you'll need to do is leave your background alone because you're not really going to animate that. At least I'm not. And then I'm going to turn off all of the layers except for the background because we're going to start creating each frame from the animation. So you want to make sure that you turn everything off but maybe your first one. So I'm going to turn off all my zombies. These are all pasted in order. So make sure that even though you'll see the numbers that I have written by my layer, they're not written in as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but you can tell that I put them all in order. And I want my animation to start off with no zombie in there, so I'm going to turn all of them off. So basically what I'm doing is making this look the way I want to in the very first frame. So I don't want to have any hands or any zombies in there. I'm just going to have my ghost in the background, and that's it. Okay, so that's my first frame. So I'm ready to turn on the timeline. So if you go to Window and choose Timeline. So when you first open the timeline, you're going to get this, the timeline will open and it will look like that. We want to create a frame animation, so click on that. So when you do, you see that it pushes it down to the bottom, and then we already have our first frame here on the bottom left. So that's what our first frame will look like. To add the next frame, you just click this plus right here. And now I'm going to go turn on whatever layer I want to have on for my next frame. So in my next frame, I just want to have the zombie starting to enter into the scene. I'm not going to have my ghost move yet or the hands move, just that. Then I'm going to click another one to create the new frame. I'm going to turn that frame off and this frame on. And then I'm going to create another frame, turn that one on, this one off. And now I'm going to start having the ghost move a little bit. So I'm going to go in my ghosts folder and I'll turn the first ghost off and turn on the second. Alright, and then I'm going to make another frame. I'm going to leave the ghost where that is because it's going to move slower than the zombie. And I'm going to turn the next zombie on. And then I'm going to make another frame. I'm going to turn that zombie on and turn the next one off, and I'll move my ghost ahead. And once again, just keep creating new frames and turn off your layer that you want to turn off and turn on the one that's next. Now I'm going to start having the hands come up through the ground a little bit. And I'm going to make a new frame. I'm going to leave the hands where they are in this frame, but I'm going to keep the zombie moving forward. And I'm going to keep the ghost moving forward. And I'm going to create a new frame. So you see, you just keep turning off the layer that you don't want to have on and turning on the one you do want. And then just keep adding a new frame. And just repeat this process the whole way through. Now I want the hands to start going back down, so I'm going to turn off the ones where they're all the way out and then start going back down with it. All right, now I'm going to turn my ghost off because he flew off the screen. And then my very last layer will have nothing in there. The zombie will be under the grave, the hands will be underground, and the ghost will be gone. All right, so now I have all these frames here. I have 18 frames. If you click this button down here, it will play them. So you're going to see at first it's going to be too fast. All right, so we want to slow it down more. You can slow each frame down individually, like if you want it to stop at a second, but so if you want to change just the speed of one frame, you can click on it, and then down here where it has the time, you can change it to be a delay. I'm going to try making all of mine the same speed though, so I'm going to shift and click on all of them, and if you change it on one, it will change it on all of them. So let's try playing that and see if that's better. It's a little bit better. I still think it needs to be maybe a little bit slower or a little bit faster. So I'm going to try that again. All right, that's probably good. All right, so this is just a basic video to show you how to do that. You're welcome to tweak yours and make it longer and make it stop somewhere. Like if I wanted it to stop at one point, I could just change this time to have it be a longer delay time. So when you're done with this though, oh, by the way, make sure over here it says forever. In the bottom left, make it say forever so that it loops your animation. And it'll just keep replaying it over and over again. When you're done and you're ready to export it, first of all, press save so that you have a Photoshop file of your document. That's very important. Make sure you press save. But then to get a GIF, you need to go to File, Export, and put Save for Web Legacy. Click on that and wait for the screen to come up. And then just make sure that your looping options are forever. You don't really need to change any of this. Just leave that as the default setting and say save. And you can put the format like this and press save. And that will give you your GIF file.